Ego is an illusion, a story we've built about who we are. It's not truly you, it's the image you've created of you. That image was shaped by your experiences, your fears, and your beliefs. It's the voice that says, I am this, and just as quickly, I am not that. It's the mental identity you protect, the mask you show to the world. But the problem begins when the mask starts living your life for you. Because ego doesn't want truth. It wants control. It wants to be right more than it wants to be free. And that's where manifestation and ego begin to collide. The ego doesn't create. It defends. It's like a security system for your personality, constantly scanning reality, trying to confirm that its story about you is true. If your ego believes you're unlucky, it will subconsciously reject opportunities. If it believes you're unworthy, it will make you ignore love when it's right in front of you. If it believes life is hard, it will distort your focus until every day feels like proof. That's why so many people say manifestation doesn't work. It does, but it can't bypass the wall your ego built. The universe responds to energy, and your energy is shaped by what you believe about yourself. If deep down you believe you're not enough, you'll unconsciously create situations that prove that belief over and over again. Manifestation isn't about positive thinking. It's about identity alignment. If you want to manifest something new, you have to become someone who believes it's natural to have it. But the ego hates that, because ego survives through the familiar, even if the familiar hurts. It would rather keep you small than risk being wrong about who you are. That's why every time you try to level up, you feel resistance. You set a goal, you visualize it, and suddenly your mind says, you can't. That's not you. That voice isn't failure, it's ego maintenance. It's your subconscious trying to protect the story it's used to. To manifest something greater, you must outgrow that story. And to outgrow it, you have to stop fighting the ego and start understanding it. Because the moment you observe it, it loses control. Ego only thrives in unconsciousness, in automatic reaction. But awareness breaks the illusion when you notice that voice saying, I can't. Pause and look at it like a cloud passing through your mind. You don't have to destroy it, just see it. Because what you can see, you no longer are. The ego's favorite trick is separation. It constantly divides life into me versus them, success versus failure, having versus lacking. And that's exactly why most manifestations don't come true, because separation is resistance. You say, I want abundance, but you feel lack. You say, I want love, but you feel lonely. You say, I want peace, but you feel fear. That contradiction keeps you trapped in the energy of wanting. And wanting keeps you separate from having. The ego survives through that gap. That constant sense of distance between where you are and where you want to be. But your higher self knows there's no distance at all. It already exists. It's already possible. You just have to remember it. Ego is not the enemy. It's the training ground. It's the part of you that once helped you survive, but now it needs to learn how to serve your evolution instead of blocking it. Every time your ego reacts with fear, comparison, or judgment, it's showing you where you're still attached to illusion. It's pointing toward the next layer of freedom. So instead of fighting the ego, start listening to what it's trying to protect. Usually, beneath its noise, there's a wound. A moment when your authentic self decided it wasn't safe to be real. When you bring awareness to that wound, healing starts, and energy begins to flow again. When you reach that state of inner alignment, life stops feeling like a battle. You no longer need to chase signs or force progress, because the next step always reveals itself. Synchronicities begin to show up. Not because you're lucky, but because you're finally in tune. The universe was never ignoring you. It was waiting for you to stop resisting yourself. And that's the secret almost no one tells you. Manifestation isn't about control, it's about coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in the same direction, you become magnetic. Opportunities start recognizing you the same way you recognize them. People appear at the right time, doors open without effort, and you realize it was never luck. It was alignment, disguised as coincidence. That's the moment the ego surrenders, when it understands it was never meant to lead, only to serve. Once you stop fighting for your identity and start expressing your truth, you stop manifesting through fear and start creating through peace. Manifestation happens in flow, not in force. And ego is force. It tries to push, control, prove, and defend. The self doesn't push. It allows. The self doesn't prove. It expresses. The self doesn't beg the universe. It trusts it. So when you notice ego showing up, that urge to rush, to doubt, to demand, pause. Remind yourself, I don't need to fight this. I just need to feel safe again. Because when the mind feels safe, the ego softens. And when the ego softens, belief becomes possible again. Think of the ego as a shadow. It disappears the moment you stand in the light of awareness. And that light is not about becoming perfect. It's about being present. The more you practice awareness, the more the ego stops being a master and starts becoming a messenger. It tells you where you still feel separate from your desires, and once you know that, you can finally bridge the gap, not by chasing, but by aligning. So if you feel like your manifestations aren't coming, don't ask, what am I doing wrong? Ask, what part of me still doesn't believe it's safe to receive? Because the ego's job is to keep you safe, and the moment you convince it that abundance, love, and success are safe, it will stop resisting them. The truth is, manifestation isn't about convincing the universe. It's about convincing yourself. You don't manifest with affirmations. You manifest with identity. And once your inner identity matches your desire, reality has no choice but to reflect it back. Ego says, I'll believe it when I see it. The self says, I'll see it because I already believe it. That's the moment creation becomes effortless, because when you no longer need to prove who you are, you finally become everything you were meant to be.